So, Byakuya Kuchiki is a Kantian philosopher, and like not in the writing way, but like in the way that he follows the philosophy. And as someone who studied a class of ethics and philosophy in college, when I read about Immanuel Kant, I then realized like the ingenious that Kubo had going on with his character writing. So, firstly, for context, to explain Kant. Immanuel Kant was an 18th century born German philosopher, often referred to as the smartest man who ever lived. He studied and wrote about like literally like everything, and most importantly, on the groundwork on the metaphysics of morals, he writes about a few key principles. And firstly, and most importantly to Byakuya, is the categorical imperative, where this is a rule where like basically one should only act in a way in which he would will it to be a universal law. An easy example would be, if you want to lie about something, would you then want to live in a society where like everyone lies? It's basically like karma, but like expanded like more upon like, you know, more people. Now, this all relates back to his character in the late Substitute Soul Reaper arc, like at the beginning of the story, and the entire Soul Society arc, as Byakuya was sent to retrieve his own sister Rukia, like for her execution, which inherently seems like something evil and inhumane to do, you know, kill your own sister. But he knows that she broke the rules of the society, and thus would not want to live in a society where these criminals aren't properly punished based on their status or based on who they're related to. So he chose to enforce this law. And this perfectly mirrors also Kant's example of the axe murder, where to talk about like the imperative in his own example, he gives a fake scenario where basically, imagine this, right? Your friend is being chased out there by an axe murderer, crazy guy, right? And he asks you for help, and he's like, yo man, I need you, can I hide in your house? And as a good friend, I hope you let him in and you like hide him somewhere, right? And then the murderer pops up to your front door and he's like, where he is. And he's not enticing you with violence, but he's just asking you like, oh, where is this guy, blah, 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 you know, just really trying to kill him, you know, right after him. So obviously, you know, you lie, right? Like you say, oh, Jimmy went that way, and you lead in the wrong direction. However, according to Kant, this is not what you should do. Kant believes that you should always tell the truth no matter what. Because would you want to live in a society where everyone lies? And he believes that the second you make an exception to lie, because your friend's life is in danger, then you will then have a higher chance to make an excuse to lie, and then boom, you eventually fall down the slippery slope of becoming a liar. And this also mirrors how Byakuya pretty much thinks. You know, you can't just bend the rules sometimes, because I mean, eventually it's going to snowball into, you know, absolute chaos. Everyone's fighting the rules and nobody's really following them. So this is how he justifies it, similarly to Kant. And even then, you might think that the axe murder scenario is just as insane. Like, oh, no one would ever like do that. But I mean, Byakuya kind of like literally does it here with like his own sister. Like he's gonna, you know, execute her, watch her die. It's gonna hurt him, but he has to do what he has to do. And which is why, in the iconic fight where Ichigo beats Byakuya and finally gets to know, like, yo, why would you like execute his sister? And then he quotes and he says, "If we do not uphold the law, who will?" The captains are the lawmakers, and if they don't follow the law, then no one will, and the social order, goodness gracious, of the Soul Society will eventually collapse. And you get to see a little parallel with Ichigo, where he says, in response, if I were you, I would fight the law. I mean, it's a cool parallel because, I mean, you can literally see how Byakuya literally prioritizes his duty and his justice of the society, where Ichigo's entire character arc and his whole theme is just protecting those who he cares about. He doesn't care what he's going against as long as the ones he cares about are saved. While Byakuya is the opposite, and it's a perfect foil for the Soul Society arc, and it's a reason why, I mean, Bleach got so popular early on. This Soul Society arc is a masterpiece, and there's just another example of Kubo's writing throughout it. So, I mean, duty and justice to Byakuya is what reigns supreme, even when it comes to hurting those he cares about. And trust me, like, his stone cold expression is just a facade, because he actually like really loves Rukia. I mean, a couple chapters later, he literally took like a sword to like the gut to her, and that hurt a lot. And you know, he very much could tell that he cared about her. And if you watch like literally like any part of Bleach afterwards, you can see how much he like loves his sister and how much she loves him. It's a weird like little dynamic they have going on. But this is the key point of Kant's philosophy, where duty reigns supreme. He believes that in the decision-making process, duty should be the only factor, and that you should essentially rid your emotions and rid your desires in the thought process of making any moral judgments, any moral decisions. Where this is then again seen in the Fullbringer arc, where Byakuya is fighting everyone's favorite uncle, Tsukishima, which is you know, Loki, like the perfect matchup to ensure victory, as Tsukishima can like control your memories and plants false ones in case you forgot, making it seem like he is your best friend while he's trying to kill you. Like, no, like, bro, why would you try to fight me like I'm your best friend, you know? So, perfect matchup because, so when they fight and Tsukishima inserts himself in Byakuya's past, and even in his sword in Senbon Zakura's past, he keeps fighting and does this. Showing that he literally like kind of rid his emotions and his desire just to accomplish his duty, surviving the battle, which is a key duty of life, and protecting the Soul Society and Ichigo Kurosaki, a key asset of the Soul Society. So, now you've learned some philosophy while watching an anime video, right? Pretty cool, pretty cool. And now, to continue, however contrary, Byakuya was pretty much opposite beforehand. So, he's seen in flashbacks to be pretty hot-headed, and his grandfather even says that he was like pretty much unfit for the role. Like, I don't see how this kid could ever be, you know, head of the Kuchiki clan. But then, eventually becoming a Soul Reaper, and he ended up breaking the rules of his clan to marry a commoner, an outsider. Commoner was from a poor district. Her name was Sasana. And, however, unfortunately, she even falls ill and dies. And while dying, her last wish was for him to adopt her younger sister, Rukia. Which he does, thus breaking the law again. After this, he swore on the grave of his parents to never break the law again, thus inserting and drilling in that Kantian view into his brain. Now, given this, I wish I could give like a more in-depth section on his character development throughout the series. However, I haven't fully caught up to 1,000 Year Blood War. I'm only on Core 2 right now. So I don't understand the bigger picture of everything, of his character development and what's going to eventually lead to. And when I do eventually finish it and catch up to probably Core 3, or maybe I'll just wait for Core 4 to come out and like, you know, watch it, I'll then make a second part to this video dedicated to his full character development. Before I leave you though, I want to give you one last cool symbolism of his character. And as when Byakuya beats Renji in the early Soul Society arc, he tells him how he metaphorically is the moon, and how Renji will never ever ever reach him far away, you know? But when he fights Ichigo and faces his Bankai, literally called Heaven Chain Slaying Moon in Japanese, he then, you know, succumbs to Ichigo and gets defeated and, quite frankly, destroyed by him. Which, I mean, it's pretty cool, and it's unfortunately lost to all of us English speakers. But I mean, I think it's pretty cool symbolism that the heavenly chain slaying moon defeated the guy who literally propped himself to be like the moon. So yeah. Overall, I thank you guys for listening to this. This is my first YouTube video, so I appreciate your time. And if you like or subscribe, it will really help me in growing my channel. Please. And if you want to request a video or another character analysis, like comment below. It's gonna be fairly empty, so I'm gonna see it, and I can like almost certainly fulfill your desires. I love all of you for sticking around. Have a blessed day. Peace.